Hey guys, DesolatorMagic here, and it's time for the 8th and final chapter in the Amonkhet storyline. I am super excited to read this one. As always, I have not read it ahead of time. I am reading it and commenting on it in real time. Not even commenting, pretty much just translating it into stupidese, thus making me the greatest narrator ever. Just kidding. So as usual, on our last episode of Amonkhet Z, I honestly don't remember. It's like 1 in the morning. I gotta be up in like 7 hours, and I took some melatonin. This video is gonna get worse as it goes. I think the last chapter was a prequel, whatever. Samut was in it. Let's just read whatever the hell they wrote. Samut has abandoned the trials, her crop, and her whole life. She has spent the last few days on the run and is desperate to stay alive long enough to face the trespasser who transformed her world. Oh, that's right. She found out that the original inhabitants of Amonkhet marked Nicol Bolas in some old hieroglyphics as a trespasser. And she's like, oh my god, he's not from here. Everybody's full of crap. They're all a bunch of brainwashed morons, which I determined that the second they showed up on Amonkhet. Anyway, what else does it say? After discovering that her city is not the way it was only decades ago. Wait, that ain't right. Should have been, I think they said 200 years, whatever. She is determined to convince her oldest and dearest friend, Jeru, to believe her. When a direct confrontation doesn't convince him, Samut turns to the only god that could spare his life. That actually has nothing to do with what happened in the last chapter. All that's new. So it just starts out by saying that Samut was hiding from, the angels, the anointed, which is the zombies, the aka mummies, whatever, and, just staying out of sight because obviously they're on to her. I believe they're coming into the story after she maybe got caught or maybe right before. I don't know. That happened in like a long time ago. Oh yeah, it actually says 3 days ago the viziers and all them had like arrested her basically because she ran through the street shouting, which is always the greatest way to get your point across. I mean, I would recommend that to anybody. And in fact, if you're an angry feminist SJW snowflake genderless moron, shouting directly in the face of somebody while on camera for CNN and YouTube simultaneously is really the best way to get your image out there. Hey, what can I say? It's accurate. But apparently picking up where that story left off, she got away from them. They had never said that that's what happened. So like the Minotaur guards or whatever tried to tackle her, and then she got away. See, even she thinks she's an idiot. It says, when thousands of citizens happily accepted their suffocating blanket of lies, how could she think she could sway hearts by simply yelling in the street? That's a good question. But now they said she changed her mind. Instead of like everybody, oh my god, it's the Soylent Green's made out of humans. It's like she just wants to convince one person, which is her friend Jeru. I totally don't remember if he's the guy who killed that other guy or got killed in one of the earlier chapters. So spoiler alert, not really. Oh my gosh, so somebody comes to the door. Guess what? It's Jeru. I should just read ahead a little bit before I comment on this, but I think we all know I'm way too lazy. He disguised himself, wrapped up as a mummy. That's one way to get across town, unsuspiciously. Very interesting. So Samut starts trying to fill him in on, why she did what she did, why she believes what she believes, etc. And the most important line is, she says, he made the world forget itself, he remade the world and remade the gods to suit his whims, which is pretty much everything that the other chapters have been hinting at. He just sort of reprogrammed the gods, got rid of 3 of them. That was weird. And just like brainwashed all the people, or just left like a false, set of beliefs in his wake, I guess. Now, keep in mind, the staff has already completely ruined the storyline of this and probably Hour of Devastation. Nicol Bolas came to this world because of blue crystals in the mine that was mentioned like one time. Nobody knows what they are, what they do. The mineral does have a name. I just don't remember what they said it was. But way too much information was leaked by the staff compared to what was revealed in the story, so oops. But they do have a huge portion of the undead working in the mine, and it seems like that was the whole setup. That's why it's the curse of unlife or whatever that makes all the dead rise back up, just so that they can work as miners. Everything else feeds into that. So the only reason Nicol Bolas targeted this world and is doing what he's doing and left and is going to come back and all that is because of these blue crystals. They do something. And I assume blue crystals are going to be the main mechanic in Hour of Devastation. Just obviously don't know what specific form it will take. Oh, spoiler alert, that showed up later than a United Airlines flight. So this whole section is just like, oh, Samut's trying to be polite about it and you know, nice and be like, hey, here's evidence and stuff. When really she's just saying, you know, I just wanted to shout at him, you utter dunce, among other things. That's a direct quote, by the way. Basically like trying to talk to a Scientologist. So Jeru leaves and he's all like, nah, you dumb. And she's like, oh, crap, he's like really super brainwashed. So anyway, Jeru is about to participate in the last of the trials because like his team or whatever beat the other 4. And Samut's like, yeah, you should probably not do that. But yeah, very unsuccessful in the end. But then as he leaves, he's like, I'll plead to Hazeret for you. And for some reason that phrase gives Jeru an idea. I hope she tries to kill Hazeret. That'll go really well. So apparently she runs to Hazeret's monument, and then the mummies that are chasing her, because there's like an arrest warrant out for her, and everybody knows it, they cannot enter a monument to a god without expressed permission. So they also can't record an NFL game. Okay, that joke was stupid even for me, but let's move on. She gets to the top or whatever, somewhere, I don't know, and goes, oh, I request an audience with the mighty Hazeret. It seems that evidently she's about to try to convince Hazeret to not let her friend Jeru participate in the trial. Oh, that'll go well. And as if Hazeret doesn't know who she is. Are you kidding me? Interesting little ritual to gain an audience. Apparently you gotta light a candle, some kind of special ritual candle thing. And then that lets you get through Hazeret's wall of fire. And then you can only speak to the god until your candle burns away. Which, I mean, candles burn for a while. I mean, that's not really, I don't know. So Samut's like, hey, not too thrilled that my friend Jeru wants to die by winning the trials. By the way, if you complete all 5 trials, the final god just like kills you and it's some big honor or whatever. Yeah, pretty crap prize as far as game shows go. I mean, even the Hunger Games gave you like some money and let you stay in the nice city. So Hazeret's like, oh, well then you should celebrate because it's an honor and blah, 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 blah. And Samut's like, nah, bro. So then Samut's like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting here talking one-on-one with freaking Hazeret, who's like 100 feet tall, totally getting cold feet. And then, of course, Hazeret's like, you know, I could strike you down for the sacrilege. And Samut's like, yeah. And then Hazeret's like, yeah, but, you know, oh, you seem like a warrior and blah, 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 blah. So fight for the truth in your heart. Oh, so cheesy. Although it is totally something one of the brainwashed stupid gods would say, so it's not really that bad of writing. So then, instead of being like, hey, you were tricked by Nicol Bolas, Samut is just like, hey, if Jeru's team wins the trial, can you not kill him? So finally, Samut puts on her big girl pants and is like, yeah, you know, yeah, he believes in your whole, you know, thing. And yeah, I would try to get in his way and interrupt it, his path or whatever. But is it possible that you are also mistaken? Oh. So Hazeret didn't say anything, but he kind of got a little pissed. Actually, I think Hazeret's a female. I don't frickin' remember or care. Hey, it's almost like gender isn't that important. People trip over it. I care about character development and backgrounds and lore. Wow, what a concept. So then Samut's like, hey, do you remember that you weren't always a dick? Like you were, you know, originally like this, and this. You know, basically she learned that from hieroglyphics that they weren't supposed to read. And then Samut's like, well, come on. I mean, don't you remember at least a little bit since before the time of the god pharaoh? Just like a little bit. Because Pepperidge Farms remembers. That's not even the meme. I just had to say it. It's hilarious. So Hazeret seems to maybe be contemplating it for a second, and then we'll go with she, why not, says, may the Amets eat the heart from your chest. I don't think that's the answer that Samut was necessarily looking for. It's pretty much what I expected, though, because when you reprogram a god and then hit compile, there's no reverting. There's no Control-Z on that one. So Samut could already hear from before some of the mummies that were inside the temple that kind of worked there or something. I don't know. She didn't really know why they were there. They started coming up the stairs or whatever. And yeah, the last thing that Hazeret said was, anointed, seize the dissenter. Oh, Samut's about to go all Xena the Warrior Princess on those frickin' mummies. I guarantee it. Oh, nope, I was wrong. The mummies stuffed her into a sarcophagus and put her out in the desert. I mean, come on, she's what, like a 4-5 with haste? I mean, come on. You know, actually, the sarcophagus, she's been in there for hours, may still be in the city. It might be the row of sarcophagi that they mentioned in, like, chapter 6 or whatever. Or, like, 4 or 5, I don't remember or care. So apparently a whole bunch of dissenters got rounded up, each one in a sarcophagus, and I guess for the trial of zeal, the contenders have to fight the dissenters. Okay, besides Samut, who says dissenters are any good at combat? In fact, you would really expect them to not be, because they don't train for it, because they don't believe in the trials. And here comes the sickest joke in the history of this storyline. Are you ready for this? So Samut's, yelling over to the sarcophagi next to her and whatever. And she says, I think we'll be the last. The second sun is hours away from its zenith, which, by the way, marks the return of Nicobolus. And then from down the line, somebody says, may his return come quickly. And Samut replies, shut up. Oh, that is the most sarcastic may his return come quickly I've ever heard. Actually, it's hard to tell if that particular dissenter was serious or not, because, they're a dissenter, but when Samut's like, oh, by the way, the gods are real, but the god Pharaoh isn't, and, like, he's screwed with stuff and all that, like, I don't know, that's, like, news to them, I guess? I don't know, it's not real clear. So here's some really crappy, transparent as all hell foreshadowing. Samut tells them, if we are to save our world when Nicobolus returns, she didn't say the name, by the way, I need to save the life of one acolyte. And the other voice is like, why one, and who, and why, and stuff. And Samut says, well, he is strong and full of conviction. If anybody could convince a god that they've been lied to, it's him. If I can convince him, he can do anything, and we can live our lives free of the trespasser's influence. So there's probably going to be a card called Jeru. It's probably going to be overpowered as hell, and they might get a god or two to fight against Nicobolus, maybe. So that'll be interesting. I just want to see the return of the other 3 gods. I think that'll be cool. I don't think that they put him in the storyline for the fun of it. So Samut's plan is the next morning, when she has to fight Jeru, just try one last time to convince him, and then, quote, the 2 will fight off the trespasser that ruined the world in the first place. You know what? Since the Gatewatch is busy acting like a bunch of morons, I'd give Jeru a better chance. Then, all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, Nissa goes up to the sarcophagi, and she's like, wait a minute, there's hands. Those weren't there before. There's people inside. They're made out of people. Soylent Green is made out of people. I hope you've seen that movie. I actually haven't. I've only seen that clip. So Nissa and Chandra are both there, which is probably a flashback to where we left them, because I believe the last time we saw them, they found a row of sarcophagi. So I guess it's all coming together. Not real clear, though, because, Wizards of the Coast writing. But, yeah, Chandra busts open the sarcophagus that she's in, Samut is in, which is actually enchanted. So, yeah, it must have taken a lot of magic to do that. Samut's all like, wait, we're not being taken to the final challenge. You're not the right people. Ooh, my plan. Well, guess what, Chica? You're getting out of the sarcophagus, so calm the hell down. Oh, and Gideon's there too, apparently. Yay, we're saved. So the Gatewatch introduces themselves and like, we know you. You're that crazy person that went shouting things in the streets like a lunatic. So Samut fills in the 3 members of the Gatewatch there. Still don't know where Liliana is. She fills them in with, what the hieroglyphics said, all the stuff she's learned over the years, and all that, just to catch them all up. So everybody's on the same page now. Oh, crap, Jace is there, too. They just keep adding people. Oh, and then Jace is like, you really want me to blow your mind? Pun very much intended. The God Pharaoh is actually a dragon from another world. Whoa! Revelation. So then Jace, it's his turn to foreshadow the hell out of Hour of Devastation. He says, I believe he came here in a moment of desperation, otherwise he would have made a place himself. Now, I think the last thing he did, and according to confirmations from the staff, Nicobolus thinks he killed Ugin. And I guess that wasn't that long ago? I don't know. Time must pass differently in different planes because none of the timing of that matches up at all from what I know about the lore, which is not much for the record. Now, you may recall Nissa used the ley lines of mana or whatever the hell to reprogram one of the gods to pretend to pass the trial. I believe it was Kefnet. And Nissa told the group what she found on the walls of Noctamoon, which is that there used to be 8 gods. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think Samut knew that. I think only Nissa knew that. My bad. And she says, yeah, but now there's 5. She doesn't know what happened to the other 3, but the surviving gods were all, quote, tampered with, or as I like to call it, hacked and reprogrammed, to suit Nicol Bolas's intentions. See, you want to know what's up? Talk to Nissa. She's like the programmer of mana. Dude, you got bugs in your mana code in your spell, dude? She will troubleshoot that and debug it. You got a magic wand that's not working? You call the 1-800 number on the wand, boom, you get Nissa tech support. What's up? Oh, for God's sake. So Liliana's there too. They just mentioned that now, and it just says Liliana took in a deep breath, because apparently she's there, and says, my 3rd demon is here. So what's his face just showed up, I guess? I don't know. Well, and then I guess she doesn't mean like literally now. She just kind of showed up or was there and then just said it. Because I guess not everybody knew that at this point. I think only one of the other planeswalkers knew that. I don't know. Oh, it was Jace, I believe. You'd think he would have told them. But, you know, Chandra's kind of mad, and everybody's getting kind of pissed according to the storyline. And Chandra's like, and you didn't tell us? And this is like, did you ever intend to help us with Nicol Bolas, or was this your real motivation? You know, to kind of get out of your contract, as we all know. It's probably easier to get out of that contract than a cell phone contract, though, am I right? Oh, and then Gideon literally asked Jace, did you know about this? And he gets all uncomfortable, and he's like, it's a secondary motivation for our group. The sooner Liliana is free from her contract, the sooner she can fight at full capacity, which I don't think is historically or lore-wise true, but whatever. I don't know, maybe the skin tattoos do something. I don't freaking know. Oh, then Chandra, because this is how she is, says, and I quote, for someone so smart, you do an awful lot of thinking with every part of you except your brain, jackass. Seriously. That's what it said. Oh, and then Gideon's like, Liliana, do you really expect us to... Oh, God, what a hypocrite. Drop what we came here to do and fight your battles for you? You know, like just joining the trials out of nowhere and bailing on everybody? Gideon, you freaking idiot. Oh, that is the pot calling the kettle black right there. And, of course, Liliana's response is, yes, I do expect you to help me fight him because you can't defeat Bolas without me. See, don't you wish Soren was there? Because Liliana is exceptionally powerful. She has been around for a while, but Soren's like over 1,000 years old. He's hyper powerful, and I think in the past he's actually killed another planeswalker. I'm not sure. I mean, he took out Avacyn, so like, yeah, where's Soren at? Call him up. Hell, go get Ugin on the phone. He'd show up. I mean, they just time traveled back in time and saved him from, I assume, Nicol Bolas killing him. That's what I've been told, at least. Hell, they could get together all the frickin' villains. Everybody's pissed off at Nicol Bolas. You know, get together all the planeswalkers everybody loves to hate and call it the Suicide Squad. So then Samut, being the crazy lady that she is, says, you know, we really don't have time to argue. We need to get to the Trial of Zeal tomorrow morning and save the one person who can help me rally Noctamoon, which is, by the way, the name of the city, because the God Pharaoh isn't here right now, and we don't know what he's capable of until he arrives. But every single one of you is going to help me rescue my friend because none of you have a better plan, basically. And they all nod in agreement, apparently. Yeah, then Gideon says, I swear to help you save the life of your friend. Oh, and then you know, since this is the final chapter of the story, in the middle of a block, so not really the end of the story, it's the middle of the story, they're going to put up a massive cliffhanger. They actually pretty much promised they would, so here it comes. So everybody's like, yeah, we'll help you, even though that plan makes just no sense. You really think one person who's not a planeswalker with no powers, that's just vaguely persuasive, is going to convince the entire city with his magical roll a 20 on your persuasion check? What the hell is she even talking about? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know what I would do? Go get some dynamite, put it on the Horn Monument, and blow it straight to hell. Then see if Nicol Bolas can still come back. I mean, that's my guess. As best I can do is better than her dumb plan. So then they all turned and saw all 5 gods walking down, I guess, the alley or whatever towards them in a single file line with Hazeret in the lead. Oh, good. So it's not like, oh, somebody escaped the sarcophagus and tripped the silent alarm. No, it's more like it's actually the morning and not the night, I guess. I don't know, the story's all over the damn place. And they're like, what the hell does Hazeret even say here? Well, they said Hazeret is showing up to be like, hey, time to fight in the trial, because that's what we do. And the other 4 are just there to watch, because it's like the grand finale, season finale, whatever, end of the Hunger Games. So then Hazeret says, Dissidents, your time has come. Come and face the last initiates in the final trial. And then a haze overcame the group and everything went dark. Oh, I thought that was the end. Holy crap, it keeps going. Oh my god, I legit thought that was the end of the story because there was like a picture and everything. No, it keeps going. Okay. Shoot, I'll keep reading. I'm getting sleepy as hell, but whatever. The dissidents awoke with cartouches of control hanging around their neck. Because apparently that's a thing. I don't know. So they're in an arena. Samut, Chandra, Jace, Gideon, Nissa, and Liliana are each forced to stand in a ring, each of them facing outward. You know, Colosseum style, I assume. So apparently the little control necklace cartouche things that they're wearing are preventing them from talking or moving or basically doing anything. Wow, what a fair fight. But Jace was, you know, mentally trying to disassemble it or whatever, break its mana, you know, whatever. It doesn't really have to make sense. It's Magic the Gathering. So when Jace thinks he's almost got it, he hears Nissa's voice in his head, and then he looks over at her, and she just, like, moves her hand. He's like, well, that's weird. And so he asks her telepathically, how did you do that? And she basically says, it's magic. I ain't gotta explain nothing. But really, she says, oh, they work like ley lines, except a different mana source with the same principle, blah, blah. She hacked it, basically. So while they're still working on, you know, that, Hazeret says, Initiates, before you are the heretics, doomed souls who denied your god Pharaoh and your way of life. Your task in this, the final trial, is to kill each of them. Wow, what a hard challenge compared to the black mana pyramid from hell. They have to walk up to somebody who can't move and kill them. Wow. So they're all looking around, which is weird because they can't move. Like I said, story doesn't make sense. And Gideon spots Jeru in the crowd. And they're like, oh, cool, he's still alive. Except, wait a minute, that's that dick who killed his own teammates. Awesome. I wonder if I'll have to kill him. Seriously, that's what he says. Or like thinks or whatever. I don't know. So then Hazeret says, the hours, which is, by the way, capitalized, so it's like an event, are moments away. May the final trial begin. So if you thought some of the combatants would be easy to talk to and perfectly logical, nope. Hazeret's mark of battle rage appeared over their heads as the god held up her hand. Hey, I knew it was a she. And, yeah, according to the artwork, yeah, they're kind of mentally controlled and, like, raging out. In fact, Samut sums it up as, conscious thought was lost, only the need to battle remained. Good luck with that. I hope you killed them all. They're a bunch of brainwashed cult morons. So all of a sudden, the cartouches of control vanished. Saw that coming. Oh, and it seems that Hazeret used her enchantment magic to kind of frenzy the dissenters as well. So both of them are super pissed and just ready to fight. So Jace tries some kind of magical spell, something to screw with the mind of the guy running at him. And, oops, it says, when no light came, no mana rose to meet his command. He got mana screwed. We've all been there, Jace. Oh, and then he gets totally, like, bull rushed and knocked over. That's a shame. So Chandra comes to his aid and doesn't use fire magic, instead uses her fists. So apparently some kind of mana is being suppressed. So it seems Hazeret's magical enchantment is really affecting them because even Liliana's getting in on the fight and she's not particularly strong without magic, so this will go well. So Nissa apparently has completely lost it. She picks up Jace and throws him at an enemy. I wish I was kidding. I don't even have to make up jokes for this part. This chapter is a joke. And then, of course, she screams a Jaragan battle cry at Jace and the Initiate, because why the hell not? So Gideon, they say, is just as lost to the magic as the others were, and he goes after Jeru, but Samut was faster. So apparently there's signs that they both really don't want to kill each other, so they're trying to like fight the magic and blah blah blah, typical movie crap. So then Gideon gets stabbed in the arm and he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't activate my magical force field and prevent all damage. That's weird. So yeah, all mana is being suppressed apparently. But then Samut starts, she like kicks Gideon in the face and then like defends Jeru from another dissident that's trying to kill him with a spear. Who the hell gave the dissident a spear? I don't know. Why? I don't know that either. So the whole time that Jeru and Samut are fighting, Jeru's like saying some kind of weird prayer thing to Hazeret saying, oh, you gotta forgive Samut and blah, 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 blah. And so all of a sudden the spell kind of wears off and Jeru's, or who the hell is that? Hazeret says, oh yes, I do hear you. So Hazeret stands up at the end of the arena and says, come forward, Jeru and Samut. Here's the interesting part. It says, you know, when Hazeret kind of dropped the spell or it dissipated, the members of the Gatewatch were like, wait a minute, I'm confused, what just happened? And they have access to mana once again. So Samut's like, hey, you should help me defeat the greatest trespasser. I need your help and can't do it without you and blah, 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 which still makes no sense logically. And Jeru's like, no. Called it. So then, short version, Hazeret's like, hey, Jeru, you want me to kill you? And he's like, yes, glorious death, best thing ever. And then Hazeret looks over to Samut and they're like, hey, will you receive my gift? And without hesitation, she's like, no, screw you. And then she looks straight at Hazeret and says, the greatest trespasser is nearly here and I have work to do. Ain't nobody got time for that. Now, if you've seen any of the card artwork from Amonkhet, you know exactly what's going to happen next. I already knew it without even scrolling down. So, Hazeret's like, approach, Jeru. So Hazeret raises her spear, ready to stab him into the afterlife, and guess what happens? You'll never guess. Well, unless you've seen the card Gideon's intervention, then you do know what's going to happen next. So right when he was about to get stabbed, Samut was already, you know, ready to tackle him out of the way, so she did that and knocked him to the ground. And then right behind her, where the spear would have hit, they hear a big honking clang noise and a burst of gold. Give it two guesses what indestructible planeswalker just like, took a trident to the face or whatever. So, Jeru's kind of mad. So apparently it was such a shocking turn of events that even the gods got up and gasped. Oh no, it seems maybe they were actually just like, oh, look at that, because it says the second sun was beginning to pass through the horns on the horizon, which I would have, you know, blown up with dynamite. So the gods are like, you know what, screw all this, they just walk out, basically. Oh, except Hazeret, who is so stunned by somebody being able to stop her spear that she's just like, what? What just happened? And she doesn't walk out. So Jeru's kind of pissed still, goes 110% full-blown ape rage on Gideon, but he's got his little golden glowy force field thing on, so he just lets him punch himself out, basically. So Hazeret's like, oh my god, you interfered, how dare you, you know, whatever, same crap. Jeru's having none of it. Their plan to like convince him to not be a brainwashed idiot is falling completely flat. He's still super pissed, totally crushed, best day of his life ruined, you know, blah blah blah, whatever. So then a horn blasts throughout the city, signaling that the hours are gonna start, and then a shadow cast by the second sun began to wipe a slow line of darkness across the stadium. How foreboding. It's like Shadows over Amonkhet. By the way, Shadows over Innistrad is a complete ripoff of a Lovecraftian novel called Shadows over, I don't remember, but something else. They literally just ripped off the name word for word. Just thought you'd like to know that. So apparently all the people are rushing to the Luxa River, because that's like where they need to be, I guess. And the gods said that's where they need to be, because that's where the gate to the afterlife is, according to the card and the story. So the prophecy finally they reveal says that the accounting of the hours, which is, I don't know, the start of it, I don't know, whatever, the gate to the afterlife would open when the second sun is directly between the horns. And then that will reveal the promise of the god pharaoh, which is almost definitely that stupid demon that Liliana has to kill, so, you know, just Spoiler alert. So they'll start running for the exit to try to go do something. They still don't have a plan, by the way, so this should go really well. Place your bets on how many planeswalkers are going to die in the battle versus Nicol Bolas. I'm guessing 2. That's my formal guess. So Gideon holds back for a second and doesn't run with them. He's busy transfixed with the wound on his forearm because he's acting like it's the first time he's ever seen his own blood, and it pretty much probably is because he's kind of indestructible. That's his thing. So then he reveals that right before Hazeret left, or actually no, the second that he blocked Hazeret's blow with her weapon spear thing, she had said in his mind, "I am neither the first nor the last immortal whom you will cross. Cursed is the man who forgets his own past. For I see your death, Kithian Yora. You are no god." So there's one. Everybody's suspecting Gideon's gonna die. I don't know why, but if everybody's saying it, there must be some kind of evidence or clues or something. But yeah, now Hazeret's like, "I've seen the future, and you're gonna die, so screw you." Good, Gideon's an idiot anyway. In fact, he shouldn't just die in the storyline. They should also ban his cards. You think it can't happen? They went to like Hatshepsut or whoever the hell that was and like erased her from history just about. So, you know, that's what Egypt does. And so the story ends by saying Gideon shivered at those words and watched the blood on his arm hit the stone below. He looked at the sun passing behind the horn of the immense monument in the distance, and the indestructible man felt only a bleak and empty horror. And that's where they leave it until Hour of Devastation. Should be interesting. So, a whole bunch of non-productive nonsense. Pretty much got nothing accomplished. They don't have a plan. Everybody's pissed at Liliana. Jeru didn't help them at all and refuses to. It pretty much all went to crap. So, as the guy from Reality Survival says, proper preparation prevents poor performance. The 6 Ps. And some show I watched or something said, if you don't have a plan, then you plan to fail, or I don't know, something like that. They should have had a plan is what I'm saying. They should have been not dicking around and staying in a fancy hotel and walking around and lying to each other and spying on people and participating in the Hunger Games and all the other crap they did for like the last 3 days. They should have been like, how do we kill a giant planeswalker dragon? Let's look that up. Let's hit the library. Let's research it. Let's ask some people. Hell, let's planeswalk over and ask Ugin. Maybe he knows. Who knows? He's probably going to want revenge on him. I mean, come on. Call everybody in the damn phone book. Like I said, go get frickin' Soren. He seems pretty powerful. He might stand a chance. I mean, call the moon chick. What's her ass doing? Call her up. Nihiri, she likes blowing crap up. I'm sure she's pissed at him, but is she dead? I don't even remember, honestly. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see where the storyline goes. I'm sure, obviously, at this point, it will be very heavy into the cards and mechanics of the next set. That's what it'll wrap around. So instead of just like an absolute story and then cards to match, it's like they designed cards and then kind of wrote a story to fix, or to not fix it, but to align with it, which is why the story's kind of chunky and illogical and, you know, just slow in some parts and poetic and then really rushed into, you know, revealing and expositional in other places. But, like, I get it. The cards should come first. Which, you know, they're designed like crap lately, so I don't know why I even said that. So, yeah, Wizards had some announcement about the storyline, and there's going to be, like, a panel at some thing, and they're going to reveal it either early or late. Or I honestly don't remember what they said. I recall it being very confusing. It's something about a something story, something, I don't, if you care, look it up. So anyway, sometime either early or late or on time, we're going to get the next section of the story. Should be interesting. Can't wait to see some spoilers. Ones that are actually real would be nice instead of some poorly phrased Portuguese nonsense. And until then, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So, what do you guys think of the story so far now that we have it completed, kind of? Let me know what you think is going to happen, because predictions are always fun. And I will see you guys on the next episode of Amonkhet Zeal.